Welcome to the Growth Vantage Podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Vita. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about 3 lessons I've learned from creating content. The reason why I wanted to share with you this is because as entrepreneurs, as investors, we are always educating, we're always creating a personal brand. And for many, creating content is a very scary thing. Many people think, oh, I don't get enough value, no one's gonna watch it, yada yada yada. And so I was definitely part of that group. And I want to share with you this so that you can have the confidence and can really take away a different perspective so that you can create the content and give value to your audience because everyone has something they have learned that has helped them to get to where they are today. And so I would really encourage you to, and I want to give you the confidence to be able to take that camera, take that video, and really shoot that content so that you can shoot for your dreams, you can impact as many people as you want, and most of all, you can see the growth in yourself, and it's a lot of fun. I definitely will say that I've never been too much of a camera person. I know initially I never really liked taking photos because my parents always liked to take videos and photos as a young kid, and I didn't. So coming into this was definitely a learning step forward and really getting out of the comfort zone of being in camera. And it's kind of awkward looking at a little camera as I'm looking at you now instead of looking at the screen, which is more inclined for you to do. One thing I've definitely learned from creating content is that people have this persona, I need to create content. What I've learned is that you're not really creating content, you're simply sharing what you discovered through a lesson. And so this was so huge for me because initially when I was starting my journey of creating content, I would take forever to come up with a topic. I would honestly would take me like 30 minutes, an hour, just to kind of think of like what to think of, what to share about. And so over time, you start to think like this is not gonna work. What's not effective? And so once I start to switch of like, what have I learned recently, or what did I learn from X, Y, and Z? That helped me to really find the topic and helped me to communicate a lot easier. And it also helped me to really just speak naturally. Initially, when I was really coming from the perspective of I need to create content, yada yada yada, I would have a spreadsheet or Word doc and put the title, and then I would make my points, and I would try to be as detailed as possible. But I don't know if about you, but actually memorizing the whole script and what you wrote is actually not that easy. Even though I would kind of cheat and put it under the camera, I would still look down to the screen and then look at the camera so you could tell that I was looking somewhere else. And for me, it was hard to really talk naturally because you could hear my pausing and stuttering and yada yada yada, and I wanted to be able to talk naturally. And so once I started to really switch perspective of, hey, what lessons that I learned recently, what can I share from that place of heart, things come a lot easier. I don't really need to create a script. I just talk from my experience, and the lessons are already ingrained in you, so you don't really need to remember it. And it makes it so much easier of a flow to really talk. Another thing I've learned about is that it helps you to really communicate better. Even though you're talking to yourself through a camera, having to really be intentional with your words. When I first started, I would, I feel like I would try to be intentional with my words, but I was not used to communicating it verbally because it was all in my head rather than me talking. And I learned that even though you have the same lesson in here and here, the transition from both is a lot different. So what's in here doesn't sound the same as you come out here. And so you have to keep practicing it. And by creating content helps you to actually practice that out and from in here. So everything comes in a straight line instead of, oh, this, that. Initially, I don't know if you guys see my past episodes, but especially in the beginning, I would, I guess I would like subtly pause. I would have to like kind of rethink about it. And then some words went like, I would kind of be all over the place rather than just like being succinct. I would go on tangents at some points, but I don't do that as much. I do it for specific reasons. But I do notice since creating content, I've noticed too that I don't speak until I know what I need to say. I always had a hard problem with that because if you know me personally, I've always talked really fast and just blurt it out. Especially like in the early years, college and younger, I would just talk, and people just have to like kind of listen. And so that's really helped me to really slow down my communication and really pick what I want to say because I have a lot to say, but not everything is actually needed in that sentence or paragraph, whatever I'm saying. And one thing I've also really appreciated about creating content is that it helps you to find your voice and to have others to really learn your voice. Actually, it's funny. When I first started working with my social media manager, she told me that she has a friend that is a social media manager too that has a client that they create content not based off the content creator's voice. It's another voice that she wants instead of being her own voice. So she wants it being authentic in who she is. And so what I've really learned from creating content is that focus on your voice. There's so many voices out there. You have the people that you aspire to be. There's people that in the same industry as you that you're technically competing with, depending on how you perceive it. But in reality, it's a game against yourself. And that's the most important part I've learned is that it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what the audience comments are. It doesn't matter what trends are posting. It doesn't matter how many likes you get. It doesn't matter how many downloads you have. All that matters is, are you communicating your voice the way you want it? The best thing is that there's no wrong answer for that, as long as it's yours. And so everyone has a different way of communication, different way of stories, different way of lessons. And I think it's so important to really communicate that to others for creating content because it really tells a story of how you got from X and then it was Z. And I think as we go through our journeys as entrepreneurs, as investors, is that along this path, we are always finding our voice. And so what I've found too is that creating content has allowed me to really dive deeper into the situations I've been in, maybe good situations or bad situations. It helps me to really just be honest and vulnerable about it, which allows me to like reconnect with you on a different level. It helps me out because it really grounds me in what was really the lesson. Am I really allowing my emotions to come over me, or am I just making it up? Or what did I learn from that bad situation? Either way, you're still finding your voice. And there's so many things out there, you gotta do this as a content creator. My encouragement to you is just keep it simple, go at your pace, create content that is true to you, find your voice, focus on your potential of your communication, and just go create some content. It's not going to be the best when you first start. It never is. But as you get better and better and you do more, you're going to see the growth over time. And others will see it too. And I've definitely had comments about how my content's gotten better. And I've definitely seen the growth too. I think that's the biggest thing as an entrepreneur is that you can appreciate the most about sucking at creating content in the beginning and getting better about it. It's like, wow, you're seeing so much progress in yourself in a short amount of time. No matter how often your episodes are, just be consistent at it. Keep working. Use the lessons as your guide for content. Don't create content just to create content, but speak from your heart and let others to hear your story and the lessons, because we all want to learn from you as well as each other, and we can do it together as through content. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.